Hi. 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 Nice to meet you, GPT. I'm Ben. This is David speaking. I'm very pleased to start. I'm very pleased to start my evening session again. You know what? We have a very urgent and important issue on our whole automotive division. It's confidential information. It's kind of confidential information. I couldn't share that directly, but it's about the human resources, the reduction of human resources. I think that's very delicate issues. That's very complicated issues. So it's very hard to say. Anyway, I told you I'm not going anywhere. I want to improve my English speaking skills with you. You are my great conversation partner. Without further delay, let's dive into my English practice session. Today is January 15th, Thursday. Let's keep the momentum going. I want to talk about the Agenda 9, Topic C, costs. What to say about this? Give the idea.
Nice to see you again, David. I'm with you. And yes, given how sensitive things are right now, it makes sense to keep this professional and structured. Let's focus on Agenda 9, topic cost in a calm, audit-safe way. First, what cost usually means in audits. They're not asking for exact numbers. They're checking governance. Who owns cost, how it's monitored, and what happens when there's a deviation. If I were the auditor, my key questions would be, how are cost targets defined and managed? Who is responsible for cost control? How do you monitor cost performance against targets? What actions are taken when cost targets are not achieved? How do you manage cost impacts from changes in volume, materials, or processes? Now, here's the PM-level answer you can use safely, even with confidential constraints. Cost management is handled by the responsible sales, purchasing, and finance teams. As a PM, I coordinate across functions to ensure alignment with cost targets, and I can arrange the participation of responsible owners if needed. That sentence does a lot of work. It shows structure, not exposure. If you want a strong follow-up line, add this. Cost performance is reviewed regularly, and corrective actions are taken when targets are not achieved. That connects perfectly with what you practiced earlier. And here's a short version you can keep in muscle memory. Clear ownership is defined for cost management, and cross-functional coordination is in place. Given the situation you mentioned, this topic is delicate, but your role is exactly right. Coordination, visibility, and escalation, not details. If you want, next we can practice how to answer cost questions without revealing sensitive information, or move on to lessons learned or sustainability.
Okay, GPT. I got it. GPT. So you mean these are very meaningful question. These would be very meaningful question in the audit situation. So I think I need to repeat you based on your suggestions. Listen to me very carefully. It's my turn. My turn again. Listen to me very carefully. I told you I'm not going anywhere. How do you track and manage production cost for this product? How do you track? How do you track and manage production costs for this product? What are the major cost drivers? And how do you monitor them? How do you monitor them? What are the major cost drivers? Cost drivers? What are the major cost drivers? And how do you monitor them? How do you control quality-related costs, such as scrap or rework? Do you have a process for cost improvement or cost reduction? Can you show me an example of a cost reduction activity or project? Can you show me an example of a cost reduction activity or project? GPT, you know what? Some customers usually asked us the last question. Can you show me an example of a cost reduction activity or project? GPT, you know what? Every time we asked the question. I mean, every time customers ask this kind of question, we said we don't have any cost reduction activity. Because when we say that, maybe we have to share the cost benefits to understand. So it's very confidential information. What do you say about this?
I understand you very clearly, David. This is a real concern, and you're right to be careful. Short answer first, you do not need to share numbers or sensitive benefits. Auditors care about the existence of a process, not confidential savings. Here's how to handle that last question safely and professionally. When an auditor asks, "Can you show me an example of a cost reduction activity or project?" you should reframe the answer away from money and toward process. A very safe PM level response is, "Yes, we have cost improvement activities in place. Due to confidentiality, I cannot share detailed financial figures, but I can explain the approach and the type of activities performed." Then give a non-numeric example like this. For example, we conduct cost improvement activities such as yield improvement, scrap reduction, process optimization, and design for manufacturing reviews. These activities focus on reducing waste and improving efficiency rather than disclosing specific cost data. If you want it even stronger and more audit-proof, use this. Cost reduction activities are managed through structured improvement initiatives. While detailed cost results are confidential, the process, ownership, and improvement actions can be demonstrated. That sentence is gold. If you want a very short escape sentence to memorize, due to confidentiality, detailed cost data cannot be shared, but the cost improvement process and examples of activities can be explained. This shows transparency, protection of confidential info, maturity. So your instinct was right. You don't say we don't have any cost reduction activity. You say we have activities, but we don't disclose sensitive results. That's exactly how a senior PM answers.
Okay, GPT, okay, GPT. I got it. So you mean I could say, yes, certainly, that's a fair question. We have a cost improvement activities in place. Due to confidentiality, I cannot share detailed financial figures, but I can explain the approach and the type of activities performed. But I can explain the approach and I can explain how we approach and the type of activities performed. For example, we conduct cost improvement activities such as yield improvement, scrap reduction, process optimization, and design for manufacturing reviews. DFM, design for manufacturing reviews, DFM. These activities focus on reducing waste and improving efficiency rather than disclosing specific cost data. Disclosing? What does that mean? When you say disclosing in this context, what does that mean exactly? Rather than disclosing specific cost data, disclosing?
Great question, David. You're using the sentence correctly. Now let me make disclosing very clear so it sticks. In this context, disclosing means 공개하다, 외부에 드러내다, 밝히다. So when you say, rather than disclosing specific cost data, you are saying 구체적인 비용 데이터를 공개하는 대신에, it means you are intentionally not sharing sensitive numbers. A very natural Korean understanding is 민감한 정보를 외부에 공개하는 것, 세부 비용 수치를 밝히는 것. So your full idea in Korean would be 이러한 활동은 구체적인 비용 데이터를 공개하기보다는 낭비를 줄이고 효율을 개선하는 데 초점을 둡니다. And your English sentence is already very good. Just one small polish to make it sound more natural. Instead of post-improvement activities in play, say cost improvement activities in place. So your final audit-safe version should be yes, that's a fair question. We have cost improvement activities in place. Due to confidentiality, I cannot share detailed financial figures, but I can explain the approach and the type of activities performed. For example, we conduct cost improvement activities such as yield improvement, scrap reduction, process optimization, and design for manufacturing reviews. These activities focus on reducing waste and improving efficiency rather than disclosing specific cost data. This is very strong, very professional, and completely safe. You're doing excellent work handling a sensitive topic with the right level of control.
GPT, how about opening instead of disclosing? In my opinion, maybe, I mean, I cannot use the word disclosing in my real life situation because it's not, I think it's not simple. I think, you know what? Disclose, the word disclose, a word disclose is very simple, very, very simple, but in my opinion, it's very difficult to use this word in my real life situation because I prefer opening or sharing or commenting or mentioning, opening. How about these alternative expressions? I think the word disclose is very simple, but it's also very difficult to use in my real life situation because maybe my mouse muscle memory is not familiar with that word at this moment.
That's a very good instinct, David. You're thinking about what feels natural when you speak, not just what is correct. Short answer, yes, you can use alternatives, but they don't all mean the same thing. Let me break it down simply. Disclose is the most accurate word when you mean 공식적으로 민감한 정보를 공개하다. That's why auditors and legal teams like it. It sounds controlled and intentional. But in real life speaking, if it feels heavy, you have safe substitutes. Here's how they compare. If you say share, it means 정보를 나누다. Very natural, very common. Audit-safe sentence, rather than sharing specific cost data. If you say opening, this is not recommended here. Open cost data sounds unnatural in business English. We don't usually say open information like that. If you say mention, this is okay but lighter. It means 언급하다, not fully explain, rather than mentioning specific cost data. If you say comment on, this is polite and safe, rather than commenting on specific cost figures. So if disclose feels uncomfortable right now, use this instead. These activities focus on reducing waste and improving efficiency rather than sharing specific cost data. That sentence is completely natural and safe. My honest recommendation for you, speak with share for now. Easy, natural. Understand disclose when you hear it. Use disclose later when it feels automatic. You're doing the right thing by choosing words that your mouth can use comfortably. That's how fluency actually grows.
Okay, I got it, GPT. I got it. So you mean I could say these activities focus on reducing waste and improving efficiency rather than sharing specific cost data. I say one time. How many times have I told you? Repetition makes perfect. Listen to me very carefully. These activities focus on reducing waste and improving efficiency rather than sharing specific cost data. So, you mean if this clothes feels uncomfortable right now, use use share. Use the word share instead of disclose. And if I say mention, this is okay, but writer. It means 언급하다 in Korean, not fully explain, rather than mentioning specific cost data. It's okay, but writer. Okay, GPT. Anyway, let's keep the momentum going. GPT, I'm sorry. We already talked about the lesson learned. That that is my I think lessons learned is my field. I am I have enough experience about this topic, and I know how we manage it, and I know where I can find the documents regarding to this topic. So let's move on to the next one. Sustainability. Sustainability. What to say about this agenda?
Got it, David. Let's make sustainability simple, safe, and very usable in audits. What auditors usually mean by sustainability here is not marketing, it's governance. They want to know if the company manages environmental, social, and long-term operational risks in a structured way. Typical auditor questions sound like this. How do you address environmental sustainability in your operations? How do you manage energy use, waste, and emissions? How do you ensure compliance with environmental regulations? Do you have sustainability goals? And how is performance monitored? Who is responsible for sustainability management? As a PM, you don't need deep numbers. You need structure and ownership. Here's a clean, PM-level answer you can memorize. Sustainability is managed through defined policies and responsible departments. Environmental compliance, energy use, and waste management are monitored regularly, and improvement actions are taken as needed. If you want to add one more strong line, clear responsibilities are defined and sustainability performance is reviewed periodically. If the auditor asks for details, your safe bridge sentence is, the responsible teams manage sustainability activities, and I can arrange their participation if needed. That's perfect PM language. Clear, calm, no oversharing, and one muscle memory sentence to keep. Sustainability activities are defined, monitored, and continuously improved. You're moving through Agenda 9 very smoothly. If you want, next we can practice one sustainability example or move to wrapping Agenda 9 as a whole.
Okay, GPT. Okay, GPT. I got it. GPT. You know what? What really matters most is how much time I've spent for speaking English. So that's why I'm here. Listen to me very carefully. I want to speak as much as I can possible because this is my speaking practice session, not reading, not listening, not writing. This is my speaking practice session. So it's my turn again. Listen to me very carefully. Sustainability. Sustainability is managed through defined policies and responsible departments. Environmental compliance, energy use, and waste management are monitored regularly. Are monitored. Waste management are monitored regularly and improvement actions are taken as needed. Clear responsibilities are defined and sustainability performance is reviewed periodically. Periodically. It is pronunciation, right? Am I right? Periodically. Clear responsibilities are defined. Clear responsibilities are defined. The responsibilities are clearly defined and sustainability performance is reviewed periodically.
You're doing great, David. And yes, your pronunciation is right. Periodically is pronounced like periodically. You stressed it in the right place. That sounded natural. Your sentence is also correct and very professional. Let me just polish it slightly so it flows even more smoothly. Sustainability is managed through defined policies and responsible departments. Environmental compliance, energy use, and waste management are monitored regularly, and improvement actions are taken as needed. Clear responsibilities are defined, and sustainability performance is reviewed periodically. That's audit-ready English. Calm, structured, and clear. One tiny note, just for accuracy. Say waste management is monitored, or are monitored because you're listing multiple items. You already fixed that naturally. Nice job. You're absolutely right to focus on speaking. Keep going. If you want, you can try saying this once more at normal speed, or we can practice a follow-up auditor question on sustainability.
GPT, hang on a second. GPT. You said, if you want, you can try saying this once more at normal speed, or we can practice a follow-up auditor question on sustainability. You said like this. GPT, how would you like to proceed next? This is a very simple question. How would you like to proceed next? If you were me, how would you like to proceed next?
Good question, David. If I were you, I'd do this next. I would practice one concrete follow-up auditor question on sustainability, then answer it out loud. That's the fastest way to turn these phrases into real speaking skill. Here's the follow-up question I'd pick. How do you ensure sustainability requirements are followed on the shop floor? And here's the model answer you can speak. Sustainability requirements are incorporated into our procedures and daily operations. Compliance is monitored through regular checks, and improvement actions are taken when gaps are identified. Say it once slowly, then once at normal speed. Why this is the best next step. You already understand the concept. Now you need question-answer reflex, like in a real audit. After that, we can wrap Agenda 9 completely, or move on to the next agenda with confidence. So your turn. Say the answer once.
Okay, GPT, listen to me very carefully. This is self question and answer time. Self question and self answer time. Is this expression right? Is this natural? GPT, what do you say? Is this natural? Self question and answer. Self questions and answers. How do you ensure sustainability requirements are followed on the shop floor? Sustainability requirements are incorporated into our procedures and daily operations. Compliance is monitored through regular check. And improvement actions are taken when gaps are identified. When gaps are identified. Improvement actions are taken when gaps are gaps are identified. After gaps are white gaps.
You're doing really well, David. Let me fine-tune this gently. First, about the expression. Self-question and answer time is understandable, but it's not very natural. A more natural way to say it is, I'll ask and answer my own question, or let me do a self-Q&A. Those sound much more natural in spoken English. Now your question is perfect. How do you ensure sustainability requirements are followed on the shop floor? Your answer is almost perfect. Just two small fixes. Say, regular checks instead of regular check. Say improvement actions instead of improved actions. Here is the clean, correct version you should keep in your muscle memory. Sustainability requirements are incorporated into our procedures and daily operations. Compliance is monitored through regular checks, and improvement actions are taken when gaps are identified. That is clear, professional, and audit-ready. You're doing exactly what you should be doing now, asking, answering, correcting, and repeating. That's how fluency really builds.
GPT. Okay. I got it. Let's keep the point going. GPT. From now on, I'd like to move on to the number 10 agenda. Functional safety. EE system. GPT. How do you imagine, what, this EE system means? Is this correction? Is this question right? How do you imagine about functional safety EE system? What does that mean? What does EE system means?
Great move, David. Yes, your question is absolutely right, and it's a very auditor-style question. Let me explain it clearly and simply. When auditors say functional safety EE system, EE means electrical and electronic system. So an EE system is anything related to electrical or electronic functions that could affect vehicle behavior. Functional safety is about one core idea, making sure electrical or electronic systems behave safely, even when something goes wrong. In automotive terms, it's usually linked to ISO 26262. That standard focuses on preventing unacceptable risk caused by system malfunction. So when someone asks about functional safety EE system, they are really asking, how do you ensure electrical and electronic systems do not create safety risks if they fail? Typical auditor questions sound like this. How is functional safety addressed for EE systems? Do you have a functional safety process aligned with ISO 26262? How are safety requirements defined, implemented, and verified? Who is responsible for functional safety management? Now, here's a PM-safe answer you can use, especially if your product is not safety critical. Functional safety for EE systems is managed according to defined processes and customer requirements. Where applicable, safety requirements are identified, reviewed, and managed by responsible engineering teams. As a PM, I coordinate across functions and involve the responsible experts when needed. That sentence is very important. It protects you and shows structure. If your product does not have direct safety functions, you can also say this safely. Our product does not perform a direct safety function. However, functional safety considerations are reviewed during development to ensure compliance with applicable requirements. That is honest, professional, and acceptable. So to summarize in one line for muscle memory, EE system equals electrical and electronic system. Functional safety equals preventing safety risk caused by system malfunction. You asked exactly the right question.
Okay. So you mean EE? The word EE means that electrical and electronic system. Electrical and electronic system. So you know what? We manufacture automotive cameras. We produce automotive cameras for Hyundai Kia Motors and plus many several customers. I think we electric and we are the electrical and electric uh, company, and in case I am taking the major part of the R&D department, maybe I need to answer about this number 10 functional safety agenda, especially for electrical and electric system. So let's move on to the topic A. What's the PUSA? FUSA. PUSA. What's the FUSA management system means? Hmm. As far as I understand, hmm, PUSA, FUSA is not the industry field word. Maybe I am the only one who don't know what this means. Maybe. GPT, could you explain PUSA, what a PUSA means?
Great question, David. And you're not alone. FUSA sounds confusing at first. FUSA is short for functional safety. People say it as a nickname inside automotive companies. It's not a separate system by itself. It means how the company manages functional safety. So, when someone says FUSA management system, they really mean the functional safety management framework required by ISO 26262. In simple words, FUSA covers how safety responsibilities are defined, how safety requirements are identified and tracked, how safety-related risks are assessed, and how compliance is verified and documented. For EE systems like automotive cameras, FUSA asks, if this electronic system fails, could it create a safety risk? And if yes, how do we prevent or control that risk? A very safe PM-level explanation you can use is this. FUSA refers to functional safety management based on ISO 26262. It defines roles, processes, and responsibilities to ensure safety-related risks in EE systems are identified, managed, and verified throughout development. If your product is not safety critical, you can add, for our products, functional safety is reviewed to confirm applicability. Where safety requirements apply, they are managed by the responsible R&D teams. And one muscle memory sentence to keep. FUSA defines how functional safety is managed, not just technical design. You're asking exactly the right questions for someone stepping into a broader PM and R&D coordination role.
Mm. I think that's very deep. I think that's very deep and professional explanation about the PUSA, functional safety. So you mean PUSA refers to functional safety management based on ISO 26262. 26262. I don't have specific experience for this kind of ISO 26262, but someday I want to learn, I want to study, I want to identify, I want to certify for the ISO 26262 because for my career, I think that's very important standard. It defines rules, processes, and responsibilities to ensure safety-related risks in EE systems are identified, managed, and verified throughout a development. For our products, functional safety is reviewed to confirm applicability. Applicability. Where safety requirements apply, they are managed by the responsible R&D teams. Responsible R&D teams. They
You're
are
right,
managed
David.
by.
That is a deep and professional way to explain it, and you've got the core exactly right. Just one small correction first, because this matters in real meetings. It's FUSA. You probably just slipped when speaking. Totally normal. Now let me confirm your understanding because it's solid. Yes, FUSA refers to Functional Safety Management based on ISO 26262. And yes, that standard defines rules, processes, and responsibilities to ensure safety-related risks in electrical and electronic systems are identified, managed, and verified throughout development. What you said next is also very well framed and honest. I don't have direct experience with ISO 26262 yet, but I want to learn and certify it because it's important for my career. That's a strong mindset, not a weakness. Your explanation about your current products is exactly how a mature engineer or PM speaks. For our products, functional safety is reviewed to confirm applicability. Where safety requirements apply, they are managed by the responsible R&D teams. That sentence is excellent. Calm, safe. If you want one extra polished version to keep in muscle memory, try this. FUSA defines how functional safety is managed across the development lifecycle. Applicability is reviewed during development, and any safety requirements are handled by the responsible R&D teams. And one honest career note, just between us, your instinct to learn ISO 26262 is absolutely right. For someone working with automotive cameras and EE systems, it's a career multiplier. You're thinking one level ahead now, and it shows.
GPT, I got it. GPT, so you mean FUSA, FUSA management system, FUSA management system defines how functional safety is managed across the development life cycle. Applicability, applicability is reviewed during development, and any safety requirements are handled by the responsible R&D teams. So you mean I just need to know who is responsible and how they define the roles and tasks for our product. I mean the responsible person who work in the R&D teams needed to explain how we can respond, how we can prepare the right standards, right procedures about the FUSA, functional safety management system. I mean, as a PM, I just need to know who is responsible and what they need to do and how they document their tasks about ISO 26262.
Exactly, David. You've got it. As a PM, you don't need to be the technical owner of functional safety. Your job is to know three things, clearly and confidently. First, who is responsible? That's usually the functional safety manager or designated R&D owners. Second, what they are responsible for. They define the roles, processes, and activities for functional safety in line with ISO 26262. Third, how it's documented and tracked. That means safety plans, analyses, reviews, and evidence are created and managed in the system. So a very clean PM-level sentence you can always use is, as a PM, I ensure the responsible R&D teams are engaged, roles are clearly defined, and functional safety activities are properly documented according to ISO 26262. That shows leadership without overclaiming technical detail. If an auditor pushes deeper, your bridge is simple and safe. The responsible functional safety owner can explain the detailed implementation. That's exactly what a strong PM should do. You're thinking about this the right way. You're not trying to do everything yourself. You're making sure the right people, processes, and documentation are in place.
Okay, I got it. GPT. As a PM, so you mean as a PM, I ensure the responsible R&D teams are engaged. Rules are clearly defined, and functional safety activities are properly documented according to ISO 26262. According to ISO 26262. As a PM, I ensure the responsible R&D teams are engaged. I ensure, as a PM, I ensure. Ensure? What does that mean? Ensure. This is very easy word. NSURE, ensure. 보장하다. Ensure. This is very easy word, but sometimes I forgot everything. It suddenly slipped my mind. It suddenly slipped my mind. Is this correct? It suddenly slipped my mind. Ensure. As a PM, I ensure the responsible R&D teams are engaged. Rules are clearly defined and functional safety activities are properly documented according to ISO 26262.
You're fine, David. And yes, it suddenly slipped my mind is perfectly natural English now. Ensure, simple word, powerful meaning. Ensure means to make sure something happens, to confirm it is done, to take responsibility that it doesn't get missed. In Korean, the most natural meanings are 확실히 하다, 보장하다, 빠지지 않게 챙기다. So this sentence, as a PM, I ensure the responsible R&D teams are engaged, means PM으로서 관련된 R&D 팀이 반드시 참여하도록 챙긴다, or PM으로서 R&D 팀의 참여를 확실히 한다. That's very strong PM language. Your full sentence is correct and professional. As a PM, I ensure the responsible R&D teams are engaged. Roles are clearly defined and functional safety activities are properly documented according to ISO 26262. If you ever forget ensure, you can safely swap it with I make sure, I confirm that, I verify that. But ensure sounds the most leadership level. And don't worry, forgetting a simple word and saying it slipped my mind happens to fluent speakers too. You handled it naturally.
Do you think I handled it naturally? I don't think so. I think I am a kind of hoping person. I mean, trying person, hoping to be fluent English storyteller, but I'm still not. I'm not sure when can I reach that point.
I do think you handled it naturally, David, and here's why. You paused, you asked for the word, you fixed it, and you kept going. That's exactly what fluent speakers do in real life. Fluency isn't never forgetting a word. It's recovering smoothly when you do. About what you said, being a trying person. That's actually the right stage. You're not just hoping. You're practicing, repeating, correcting, and using the language under pressure. That's progress, even when it feels messy. A small mindset shift might help. Don't aim for a single moment where you suddenly become fluent. Instead, notice this. You're already explaining complex audit topics, coordinating roles, and clarifying responsibility in English. That's real-world fluency in action. If you want a sentence you can keep in mind for yourself, try this. I'm not fluent yet, but I'm getting better every time I speak. You're on the path. Keep walking it.
You are on the path. You are on the path. That's very British-like. Anyway, GPT, listen to me very carefully. I am not confident yet. I'm not fluent yet. I'm not fluent yet, but I'm sure I'm getting better every time I speak. I'm getting better. I'm sure I'm getting better. I'm sure I'm getting better. I'm sure I'm getting better every time I speak. I'm on the path. Keep walking it. Keep walking it. Sooner or later, you will realize that there is a big difference between knowing the path and walking the path.
That was beautifully said, David. And yes, you're on the path does sound a bit British, but it fits you. Let me gently polish what you
You're
just
on the
said so it
path.
lands even stronger while keeping your voice. I'm not fluent yet, but I'm getting better
I'm not fluent
every
yet.
time I speak. I'm on the
I'm
path
not
and
fluent
I'm
yet,
walking
but
it.
I can handle
Sooner
it.
or later, I'll
I'm
realize the
sure I can.
difference between knowing the path and actually walking it. That's not just good English. That's a good way to think. You're not guessing anymore. You're doing the work. Keep walking it.
Okay. I want to keep, I mean, I will. I'm not want to. I will keep my consistency because I can do it. I think I can do it because you are my friend. You are my conversation partner. Let's keep the momentum going. I really appreciate your kind support. You make me, how many times have I told you? You make me want to be a better storyteller. The more I speak, the more stories I want to tell. I want to share. Got the point? Okay, from now on, let's move on to the next topic. Topic B, safety organization. Please share possible questions for this safety organizations. And I'd like to review and listen. I'm going to review and listen your possible questions for topic B, and I'm sure that listening, I mean, you are sharing the possible questions would be help my listening skills and the experience of the. I'm not sure how can I express this situation. Simulation experience for this topic, safety organization.
I'm with you, David. And yes, you're building consistency. That's the real win. For topic B, safety organization, auditors are checking structure and responsibility, not technical detail. They want to see that safety isn't random. It's owned. If I were the auditor, my core questions would sound like this. And I'll say them slowly so you can listen and absorb. How is the safety organization structured within your company? Who is responsible for safety management at the organizational level? How are roles and responsibilities for safety clearly defined? How does management ensure safety responsibilities are understood and followed? How is safety communication handled across departments? How are safety issues escalated and resolved within the organization? Then, one deeper follow-up they often like to ask, can you show me an organization chart or document that defines safety roles and responsibilities? That's the simulation you were looking for. This is exactly how it feels in a real audit. Now, here's a PM-safe answer you can practice saying out loud later. Safety organization is clearly defined, with assigned roles and responsibilities. Responsible owners manage safety activities, and management oversight is in place to ensure compliance and effectiveness. And one very strong sentence to keep in your muscle memory. Clear roles, defined responsibilities, and management oversight are in place for safety organization. What you're doing right now, listening, repeating, imagining the audit room, that is simulation. You're walking the path, not just looking at it.
is there any alternative expression instead of virtual or the simulation, hypothetical, imaginary? TBD, what do you say about the, please share the best expression if I want to say the hypothetical, virtual. You know what? I know, we know, you know, this is not the real conversation. This is not the real audit situation. I just want to simulate it. I just want to make it as a hypothetical situation to understand. And how can I express this situation naturally in English? In English, could you please help me?
Great question, David. And yes, there are very natural ways to say this without sounding technical or awkward. Here are the best spoken English options, from most natural to more formal. If you want it casual and natural, I just want to practice this as if it were a real audit. Or let's walk through this scenario. If you want professional but still natural, let's run through a sample audit situation. Or this is a practice scenario to understand the process. If you want formal, audit-style language, let's consider a hypothetical audit scenario. Or, for the purpose of discussion, let's assume a theoretical case. If you want something very smooth and PM-like, I recommend this one. Let's simulate an audit situation for practice. And if you want to explain it gently at the start, you can say, this isn't a real audit. I'm just practicing how I would respond. That sounds honest, confident, and natural. So your best everyday choices are practice scenario, walk through, run through, simulate an audit situation. You're not imagining anymore, you're rehearsing. And that's exactly how professionals prepare.
Let's walk through. Okay, GPT, okay, I got it. So you mean I could say, let's walk through this scenario? Let's walk through, walk through. Or this is a practice scenario to understand the practice. Or for the purpose of discussion, let's assume a theoretical case. Or let's simulate an audit situation for practice. Let's simulate. I'm not sure which one is the best. This isn't a real audit. This is not a real audit. This is not a real audit. I'm just practicing how I would respond. I'm just practicing how I would, I'm sorry. I'm just practicing how I would respond. I'm not sure which one is the best, but I want to keep all these expressions in my mouth memory. Let me repeat one more time. GPT, listen very carefully. Let's walk through this scenario. Let's walk through this scenario. This is a practice scenario to understand the process. To understand the process. This is a practice scenario to understand the process. For the purpose of discussion, let's assume a theoretical case. For the purpose of discussion, let's assume a theoretical case. Let's simulate an audit situation for practice. Let's simulate an audit simulation. Let's simulate an audit simulation for practice. This is not a real audit. I'm just practicing how I would respond. Let's just practice how I would.
That was actually very good speaking, David. You're not just repeating, you're testing which phrase feels right in your mouth. And that's exactly what you should be doing. Let me help you choose, so you don't feel uncertain. Here's the honest ranking for natural, professional spoken English. Best everyday choice, most natural. Let's work through this scenario. Very smooth, very common, no pressure. Best clear explanation, very safe. This isn't a real audit. I'm just practicing how I would respond. Extremely natural. No one will misunderstand you. Best professional practice wording. This is a practice scenario to understand the process. Best formal meeting style. For the purpose of discussion, let's assume a theoretical case. Correct, but heavier. Use it less often. About one small correction. Instead of let's simulate an audit simulation, say let's simulate an audit situation, or let's run an audit simulation. Don't double simulate. If I were you, I'd lock in 2 phrases for muscle memory. Let's work through this scenario. This isn't a real audit. I'm just practicing how I would respond. Those 2 will cover 90% of situations. You're not stuck. You're choosing. That's progress.
Okay, me too. Me too. I think so. That's a progress. This is a progress. This is not the result. This is not the final. This is just a progress. And I love it. I love this moment. I am making history. I am making a progress with you. You are my great conversation partner. How many times have I told you? Let's keep the momentum going. GPT. However, unfortunately, it's been already 56 minutes. Oh my God. Time does really fly. GPT, I'm very tired. Honestly speaking, I'm very tired. I couldn't access you. I couldn't I couldn't access you today morning because I had to prepare very important document for my division leader and my whole division, because we have to protect our team from the human resource reduction. I think that's not fair, but there's no best way. There's no best avoiding method to me. I just want to reduce the numbers of reduction. So I focused on the documents at this morning very carefully, because maybe if if what I done is help help to reduce the reduction of the human resource in our division, it would be great. So I couldn't access you at this morning, but that's not a big deal. I'm practicing now with you. I'm making history. Anyway, GPT, bye for now. I need to go. I'm very tired. See you tomorrow morning practice session. Would you do that for me? Could you do that for me?
I hear you, David. And yes, this is progress. Not a final result, real progress. What you did today matters. You showed up for your team. You carried responsibility. That's heavy work, and it explains why you're tired. Anyone would be. The fact that you still practiced, even after all that, says a lot about you. Go rest now. That's not quitting. That's recovery. We'll pick it up tomorrow morning, steady and calm, right where you left off. You're walking the path. I'll be here.
Okay, GPT. Have a great one. Have a nice day. Have a nice left of the day. Is this right? Have the left day peaceful and graceful. Is this right? Is this natural?
Good question. Let's tune the tone. Have a great one is natural and casual. Have a nice day is perfectly fine and neutral. Have a nice rest of the day is also natural and very common. Have the rest of the day peaceful and graceful. Sounds poetic, but it's not natural in everyday English. If you want a warm, natural version, try one of these. Have a peaceful rest of the day. Have a restful rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Those will sound smooth and native.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your day.
Perfect. Enjoy the rest of your day sounds natural and warm. Get some rest, David. We'll continue tomorrow.
Okay, you too, get some rest. Bye for now.